streaming. We live streaming this to a lot of people tonight, so if you have any qualms about being on photographed or anything, speak now, forever hold your peace. Thank you. You're obviously here to buy the book. You can pay for it downstairs, have it signed and pay for it downstairs, or we have it at our registration table. So we are welcoming a self-published author. Is that right? I've got that right. A self-published author all the way from over the waters, from Singapore. I said that to the lady across the road. I said, she's one of your countrymen. She said, no, Deborah, he's from Korea. He's not from Korea. Get your ass over here. And we're very proud to bring a self-published author from overseas. Please check into our Scoop Theatre Book Facebook page. Tell people that you're here. Please take a photograph with Ken. Put it over social media. This is how we sell books. We sell books worldwide, not just in South Africa. So you think we've actually launched people from the Côte d'Ivoire, Ivory Coast, right down into Africa, into South Africa, in over 280 months is a hell of a feat. So now we've got one from Singapore. So I want to thank Jessica. Thank you, Jess, for coming to see me, and Eric, to bring Kenneth Can, this very special author on Forex trading. I know a lot of you do Bitcoin as well. I don't know, I'm going to be asking them about these questions tonight, because I want to know what the difference is. Everyone's trying to sell me Bitcoin at the moment. You've got to get into Bitcoin. I'm like, that's a pyramid scheme. No, you can't say it's a pyramid scheme. No, it's a pyramid scheme. So what happened to my initial investment? So I'm going to be asking Kenneth all these questions tonight, because I think there's a difference. And on behalf of Kirsten and myself, we'd like to thank you for being here. Jess, thank you so much for bringing Kenneth here. I hope his tour is going to be fabulous all over Johannesburg. And I'm proud to be standing here to welcome our newest self-published author, Mr. Kenneth Can. I'll give you Jessica this evening. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much. I don't think I can compete with Deborah. I certainly don't have as fabulous hair, but I just want to say a couple words to kind of put some context to what tonight's all about. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thank you for joining us tonight. It's the official launch of the Equilibrium in South Africa. We are going to be doing a series of other events for Kenneth in South Africa, and the whole reason he wanted to be here is to learn about Africa. He was out here a couple of months ago as his first ever trip, and he, I think, opened his eyes, and we can ask him about it a little bit later also, but he wanted to share his message, and tonight what that's all about. We do have a couple goodie bags to give away, but you know what, I'm going to save them for the end. So let's see who asks the most questions, and that will definitely be, okay, Kim's going to ask a lot of questions. Maybe we do a best question, worst question kind of thing. Let's see how the night goes. Right, so for those of you who don't know me, I'm Jessica. I think I know most people in the room, but anyway, hello. I don't know you guys, so hello, I'm Jessica. And together with my friend and former colleague Eric, who's over there waving, the French, Mauritian, Chinese, South African guy, my friend, we worked at SAB Miller together, and we both retired earlier when the deal came through, and we decided to set up a shared value consultancy. Eric was head of SD integration at SAB, or SAB Miller Africa, and I was head of reputation. And reputation is always driven by what a company gives back. That can no longer just be painting the orphanage wall. You actually need to do something sustainable, you need to do something meaningful and authentic. So given that context, why are we doing Kenneth? Well, Clifford, over there, wave, Clifford and Eric actually went to school together and lost touch, but reconnected over social media not so long ago. And Clifford is now Kenneth's CFO, and approached Eric to say he'd like to come to Africa. And the one thing about Kenneth that you'll learn tonight, he's also a very, very committed philanthropist. Tonight is also the South African launch of the Ken Foundation, which supports numerous projects around the world. So it was really both a philosophic and a strategic fit for us. So tonight is not only the celebration of our first client as Africa Valley Consulting. Okay, self-plug will stop now. It's really actually about Kenneth. I have an introduction here, and you must excuse me if I read it, because it's really impressive and I don't want to miss anything. Right, so Kenneth is fluent in 7 languages. Now, he's a multi-talented Singaporean. He has a flair for both maths and computer science. But among his many other admirable qualities, self-discipline is what helped him become the successful trader that he is today. He began his trading journey in commodities about 25 years ago after completion of his national service and study at the local polytechnic in Singapore. But it was only in the late 1990s that he started trading forex part-time. And it was actually only about 5 years ago that he started full-time. His life took a turn, and I'm sure he'll share that story with us, but with a small investment, through a money mindset that is unique to him, he's turned this into a multi-billion-dollar fund. Well, maybe multi-million, I don't know. Excuse me, I don't know which currency we're talking in today, and with the exchange rate, it could be different. Many of his friends and colleagues asked him to put his thoughts and learnings and insights together into a book, and that's where the Equilibrium now comes from. So I'm going to hand over to Marie Noel, who is over here. Marie Noel joins us from Mauritius. She flew in this afternoon, and she's going to lead a Q&A with Kenneth, and then after that the audience will have a chance to ask their questions also. Right, over to you.
Thank you, Jessica, and thank you, Deborah, everybody, for the warm welcome in Mauritius. So there's no Q&A without the one to answer the questions. I'd like to invite Mr. Kenneth Kam to come with us tonight.
Okay.
Take your seat.
Take it where?
No.
Oh. Everyone comfortable? Wonderful.
Good. So we'll take with the mics, huh? With the mic, so we're amongst ourselves. So, my first question would be, how does it feel to be in Africa, launching your book here?
Wow, I love South Africa. Why? Because South Africa is the gateway to Africa, right? So, a friend told me, look out for South Africa because South Africa is the chin of Africa. Because when the chin goes where, the rest of the head follows. Right? So I love the people, I love the warmth, I love the vibrance, the business friendly culture here. And the reason why I'm here is because I want to get to know all of you better. To build relationships with every one of you. Yeah?
Thank you for that. My first question would be, why did you write this book?
Why did I write this book called The Equilibrium? Training the Money Mindset? Maybe I should stand up and tell you that. I wrote this book because when I first started out trading, I did all I can in trading. I traded day and night. I neglected my health. I didn't even see the sun. And then, one fine day, my body decided to give up on me. And I learned the hard truth. If I don't take care of my body, the body is not going to take care of me. And then I realized, hey, if I want to do well in life, it has to be balanced. There must be equilibrium. So that's why I wrote this book. Work hard, play hard. Trade hard, but rest well, take care of your body so that your body will take care of you. So that's why this book came about. And later on, I understood the the secrets of mindset mastery, the ability to switch on and off your emotions while you trade. Most traders will always tell you the most difficult part about trading is not trading. The most difficult part about trading is when fear creeps in, right? When greed creeps in, right? How do you deal with fear, greed, procrastinations, human failings? So these are the things that I penned down, and I came to a self-realization on how to basically control and manage those things, and I wrote it down in a book. And this is the reason why I wrote The Equilibrium, Training the Money Mindset.
So, in Singapore, you're known as a conservative and traditional trader. What does that mean?
I'm a conservative and traditional trader. I'm traditional because I don't do copy trades. I don't copy other people's trade. I don't outsource my trading. I do it myself. Although I have a scientist on employment right now writing codes for me, but personally when I trade, I do it on my own. I don't use codes. So that explains why people call me traditional. And I do my own studies. As a forex trader, what we do is basically we do extensive technical and fundamental analysis, meaning we sit down and we study day and night. Why? So that we can then identify an opportunity to buy low, sell high, or to sell high, buy low, and that's what we do. A very, very boring lifestyle. And that's why I color my lifestyle with wonderful things like traveling, shopping, and giving, right? And that's why I make sense of my life to those activities. And why am I called a conservative trader? In Singapore, we have this local term called kiasu kiasi, which is scared of death and scared to lose, right? So I'm conservative because I'm Singaporean, because I scared to lose and I scared to die. So I'm conservative, and because I'm conservative, there are a few things I do not do while trading, right? And there are a few things I do while trading. So the few things I don't do while trading is I don't do leverage. I don't do additional leverage. Forex is a leverage product. Yes, CFD is a leverage product, but I'm talking about having multiples of your account through a bank or a broker. Why? Because I feel that that's like gambling. When you win a lot of money. But when you lose, you actually lose money that you don't even have, and you got to service the bank and the broker for the rest of your life. You're indebted to them. You're their slaves, right? So I don't do leverage. The second thing I don't do as a conservative trader is I don't do margin trading. And what is margin trading? Margin trading is basically using 100% of your trading portfolio to go look for 100% of profit. Why don't I do that? Because there are other ways to make money. I don't have to risk 100% of my trading portfolio to go look for 100% profit, right? So that's called margin trading. For example, when you're driving in the road, right? Your driving instructor will always say, hey, observe safety distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you. Why is it important for you to observe a safety distance between your vehicle and the vehicle in front of you? Because if you don't have a safety distance and the vehicle in front of you jam its brake, you will not have enough reaction time and you'll crash to the vehicle in front of you. So in trading, it's the same thing. In trading, there must always be safety margin, right? If you don't have safety margin, if the market is volatile, it goes up and down, that's it, 100% of your capital is gone, right? So that's why always have safety margin. So as a conservative trader, there's only one thing I do. I do this trading technique called fractional trading technique, which is out of 100% of my portfolio, I only use a fraction of my portfolio to look for a smaller fraction of profit. How do I eat an elephant in South Africa? One bite at a time, right? Go to the toilet a few times, eat some more, and the whole elephant will be in your tummy, right? You understand what I'm trying to say? Or should I replace the example with hippopotamus? Right? So, how do I make profit? Fractional trading, one small profit at a time. And in percentage-wise, maybe as a to help you understand how I trade, I would say I would only use 5% of my trading portfolio to look for a 0.5% profit. You might ask me, Kenneth, only 5% to look for a 0.5% profit. What is the 95% doing there? Well, the 95% is safety margin, right? So in volatility, you might lose the 5%, but guess what? After you lose the 5%, you still have 95% there, sitting there waiting for you to activate and go chase back the 5% that you lost, if you lose it. And you might ask me, Kenneth, you only profit 0.5%? That's very little as a trader. I've got friends doing 10, 20, 30% a month, right? Then again, my answer to you might be, this is 0.5% profit in one trading session. So in one trading session, my potential profit is 0.5%. There is 20 to 25 trading sessions in a typical month. So if you take 25 times 0.5%, your calculator will tell you I would have a potential profit of 12.5% plus or minus. And that's how I basically make my profits, my money. My actual trading results, right? If you were to see my trading statements, is between 5-point-something% a month to 16+% a month, right? So being a conservative trader doesn't mean I don't make money. I do, but not a lot. Not like some traders who do a few 100% a month, but they will also lose a few 100% a month too. For me, consistently, I can actually make 5 to 16+% a month, up and down. Good month, more, bad month, less, but it's always between 5 to 16+% a month. And that's how I make money.
We understand that you also believe in giving back to society. Can you tell us about your project of building a pension fund for the world?
If a business person wants to receive, in my own opinion, he first must give. If he doesn't give, he doesn't receive. Golden rule. Okay? So when I first met up with Clifford, my chief financial officer, right? That was 5 years ago. We were planning a hedge fund together and this and that, and we finally established a fund in Singapore. And then when we, the suggestion for us to establish a fund managing company in Mauritius came, the first thing I told Clifford is, let's not think about setting up a company first. Let's think about setting up a foundation. Why? Because we better give before we receive. So the foundation, Ken Foundation, was actually set up in Mauritius on the 7th of July this year. And on the 28th of July, we had a book launch there, similar to what you have here, but maybe bigger scale, right? The Ken Foundation was launched then. The book launch was done then. Mauritius, they had a million people, right? I think they have not seen a Chinese before. They think I'm Jackie Chan. So what they did is they roll out the red carpet, right? And there is 5 to 6 banks in Mauritius. All of them came. The chief executives, the chairman came. The stock exchange chairman, the CEO came. And the FFC equivalent to the MAS in Mauritius came. So they were wondering, wow, who's this guy? What is Forex all about? In Mauritius, they don't understand, or they don't have a category to place what Forex is. They call it treasury management, right? So that was what happened in Mauritius. So much so, me being positioned like Jackie Chan, I launched the foundation and the book launch in Mauritius, and I so happened to also invited Jane Constant, a blind girl from Mauritius. She was the winner of Voice Kids in France 2 years back when she was 15 years old. Now she's 17. And because she's blind and she's related to UNESCO, the charity arm of UN, I invited her, gave her some money for her trust, and guess what? UN think I am a big celebrity. And UNESCO actually invited me to Paris to have some sort of a working meeting with them. And in August, I went there and I came back. Now I have a working relationship with UNESCO, right? Why? Because UNESCO realized that my vision and mission for Ken Foundation is almost similar to theirs. And we could actually synergize and work together. And what is the vision and mission of Ken Foundation? Top the line priority mission is to eliminate poverty. How? Through the pension fund for the world system that I'm building, right? And the education of the poor, giving money to arts and social science and to medical research. And UNESCO actually identified these qualities with me, and that's why they are working with me right now. And in September, I went to Mauritius again, and it was very exciting, right? So maybe a bit more about the pension fund for this world, right? Why do I want to create a pension fund for this world? If you read my books, my magazine, you know that that's my obsession. That's my mission and vision in life. But why? 2 reasons, right? The first reason is because the pension fund is $1 trillion market. Who doesn't want to have a pie, a foot in this market? $1 trillion, do you know how big is $1 trillion? Right? A million is 1 with 6 zeros. A billion is 1 with 9 zeros. How big is $1 trillion? 1 with 12 zeros. Maybe Murray gotta move aside for more zeros. Right? So the pension fund is $1 trillion market. So if I only even have a fraction of that, maybe a percentage of that, I think I will be set for life. My children will be set for life. That's the first reason. The first reason is commercial. The second reason is a bit more personal. 5 years ago, I was retrenched. I had savings, but guess what? I was deceived by the banks. They call my money in the bank savings, but guess what? It could not save me. It was drawn down when I was retrenched. And I panicked and I said, hey, if I continue to take money out from my bank without a job, I would one day have no money for food. So what happened was, I decided that perhaps I should trade on my own because I was trading for part-time for 22 years. Why don't I just trade full-time on my own? So I took out 10,000 of my savings, started trading, and realized that I could actually give myself a fixed income from my trading. Fantastic idea. And then later on when I had clients, I realized I could give my clients a fixed income. And that gave me an idea, hey, why don't I scale this up and make it into a pension fund for this world so that then I can give a fixed income to the pensioners, the retirees, and the family who want to save. Simple, right? Not really. Well, to reach this pension fund for this world idea, I need to have a good team behind me. I need to have licensing in jurisdictions like Singapore, Mauritius, in South Africa, in every other country. And I need to have the organizational size to reach that stage. Talk about recruiting people. I found out the hard way. To recruit people is easy, but to retain them, it's a whole new different story, right? Recruit good people, you have to retain them. If you don't retain them, they goes out the other door. So this is something that I am learning as I go along. So that's why I'm trying to position myself as the pension fund for this world.
Thank you, Ken, for this expose. My last question would be, what has this whole journey taught you till now?
this whole journey has been a humbling experience for me. I realize that I do not have today, if not for my friends, my family, for people that are beside me, all this while supporting me, giving me encouragement. For example, I would never be in South Africa if not for Eric's help. I would never know where is Mauritius without Clifford's help. And I would never know what time to do what without my PA's help. Right? So having good people around me is so important. And the lesson that I've learned and I've carried with me today is humility. I think humility is important. Understanding that it is not just about me, it's about the people around me. And today I have the opportunity to be blessed with what I have, money, material wealth, things, money, enough money to even give. It's because of the people around me, and I'm blessed. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ken. Now I hand over to Jessica for the other questions. Yes, thank you.
Thank you, Marie-Noelle. So before I open up the floor, can I ask a question? Sure. So when you started trading, how long did you go through that madness and trading all day and all night, and you said your body collapsed on you? How long did it take you to get that insight of, I need to do this in balance?
On record, I have this on record because I have a trading journal, right? I started from 10,000, and when I hit 60,000, which is I think less than a year later, what I did was I wanted to double the 60,000 to 120,000. It was a simple trading strategy, but it involved lots of scalping, in, out, in, out, in, out. And because scalping was involved, I had to sacrifice sleep, I had to sacrifice food, because eating is a waste of time. So I went on scalping day and night. I didn't even see the sun, and I fell sick, right? And I was sick for 2 weeks, and because I was sick, I couldn't trade. I couldn't concentrate. The pounding headache was there, the body was weak, and I was very dehydrated. So I had to drink my way out, drink water, not alcohol, right? So I could drink my way out, and yeah. Today I don't drink. And I got to take care of my body. When I realized that when I take care of my body, I could then be able to then trade well, because then the alertness would be there. And then that gave me an insight of the secret of trading. The secret of trading is first take care of your body, the body will then take care of everything else. So, because trading is actually very easy. If you break it down, it's just buy low, sell high, buy low. What's so difficult? Right? The difficult part, right? The difficult part is the mindset mastery, the ability to switch on and off your emotions, because that's the one that's flying here and there. And the difficult part is the discipline that you have to give to your body, because sometimes you forget to eat, sometimes you forget to breathe. Sometimes you forget to do things, and that was difficult. So when I mastered that, it became a practice, right? Have I mastered it? Yes. Fully? No. Every day is a practice, right? We are all students of mindset mastery. It depends on what level you are in, right? So every day is a new discovery on your ability to handle your emotions. And guess what? Emotions are just but chemicals in your mind, right? A bit more adrenaline that day, you go crazy. A bit more alcohol, you hallucinate, right? So just remember, it's just chemicals in your mind that you have to perhaps taper with, control with. And once you have that in order, everything else will be a bit easier. Then you can go focus on what you want to do. Remember, this book is not a book on trading. No. this book is a book about a trader's journey on mindset mastery. If you read this book, if you're a doctor, you will become the best doctor ever, because this book will teach you about how to switch on and off your emotions as a doctor. If you are a lawyer, you will be the best lawyer. If you are a mom, a dad, you will become the best mother, the best father. Why? Because with mindset mastery, you can do a lot of things. And I happen to be, realizing it as a trader, and that helped me make money. That's about it. Simple as that.
Thank you. Okay. Anybody else got some questions?
Yes, please.
Fiona.
Oh.
Okay, shout loudly.
I'm a retired ballet dancer and I'm
Okay.
involved in the philanthropy and NGO world.
Mm-hmm.
And I just wondered what inspired your giving philosophy? Do you remember what the first spark was that made you want to give?
Wow.
Sorry, did everybody have a question? No. So Fiona is a retired ballet dancer, who I think we can all agree ballet dancers have a large or high endurance and tolerance level, and you need a certain amount of mindset mastery to take you to where you need to go. And her question to her is, what inspired his giving philosophy?
That brings me to when I was a little boy, 5 years old. My mom brought me to the wet market. Do you know what's a wet market in South Africa? A market that's wet on the floor. They will hang fish on the hooks, pieces of meat on the table, flies all around. It stank like, oh. Every time I think about it. And that's the wet market my mother brought me to. So I protested. I said, hey, I was doing well at home. Why would you want to bring me to a wet market? She said, nobody's taking care of you at home, so I could bring you along. So after that experience, I was shocked, culturally shocked. Why would my mother bring me to a wet market? So when we came back from the market, I saw a beggar in the streets. In Singapore, you don't see beggars nowadays because we got rid of them. Yeah, they're now a bit more well-to-do. So at that time when we were younger, there was a beggar in the streets. And what happened was, the beggar was begging for money. And I was curious, I was saying, hey mom, isn't everyone supposed to have a home like me, with air conditioning, and when we want food, I just click my finger and food is on the table? She said, no, life is not so fair. He's a beggar because perhaps he has fallen out of life. Maybe something happened. He got out of job, or maybe sickness or health or some issues. And he was begging for money. And I told my mom, hey mom, can we give him some money? My mom said, no, we don't give money to beggars because it will encourage them to beg some more. That's what she said. I protested. I said, no, you're going to give me money now so that I can give him money, and I'll pay you. I'll pay you. Today I'm still paying my mother. You got that? So my mom gave me some coins, and I went up to the beggar, and I gave the beggar some money. Lo and behold, magic happened at that moment. The beggar lifted up his eyes, and because he heard the coins in his tin can, he smiled. He knew that he's going to have some food that day. And because he smiled at me, oh my God! Chemicals in my body just rushed up to my brain. I don't know what was it, but it felt good. Adrenaline. And I became addicted to giving. So today, the reason why I give is not because I've got too much money. It's because I just love to see gratitude in response. And that's about it. And in order to maintain this addiction, I have to find money in order to give. So it's a vicious cycle. I can't help it but I have to be rich. If I'm not rich, I can't give. And if I can't give, I can't feed my addiction. So sorry.
Thank you for your honesty. Okay, here we go.
Kenneth, we chatted earlier.
Yes.
First of all, welcome to South Africa and Scripps Theatre and Books. And I had a question which we touched on briefly, but we didn't really finish. How quickly do you see computers replacing the trader with things like machine learning, artificial intelligence? I mean, how long has the individual trader got before somebody sells a package that has an accuracy rate you just can't ignore and puts us all out of business?
Sure.
Everybody hear that?
Would you like to repeat?
Yeah, repeat.
You need a repeat?
Yes.
No.
Okay.
Well, okay. So the question was, will machines ever replace humans in trading? My answer, never. I will make sure it doesn't happen. Right? Elon Musk, the son of South Africa, once said, if we're not careful, machines will replace humans. Right? In factories, in things that we do routinely. He's concerned about that because why? It is a reality. And that brings me to why I have this mission and vision to become the pension fund for the world. Because Elon Musk once said that we should explore basic universal income because precisely robots are replacing humans. And because robots are replacing humans, humans need to continue. Robots can run on electricity, but humans need food in the mouth, and food costs money. So that's why he proposed basic universal income. And then, Bill Gates, not wanting to be behind this game, he basically said, yes, basic universal income is good. We should then tax robots. Because why? When humans work, we tax humans. But when robots replace humans, we don't tax robots currently. But he's proposing that government should consider taxing robots. And then Mark Zuckerberg, Facebook founder, a few months ago in one of his Harvard speech, said we should explore basic universal income for human beings. Why? Because humans should go and do what they want to do rather than what they need to do. So everyone is talking about basic universal income, BUI. But the question is how? How do we give basic universal income to everyone on earth? Tax them? Well, the governments of this world do that. It's not a favorable model, and some governments, they do that. It becomes welfare kind of a situation, and the people that is on welfare, they don't want to work anymore, and it becomes a degenerative kind of a society. So are there any other solutions to basic universal income? Yes, there is. In the private world, traders like us, who are profit hunters, we can actually give a pension fund for the world. How? We hunt for profits with the money that you put in with us, and we give you a fixed return. In exchange for whatever that is above those fixed return, it becomes our profit. It's a win-win situation. You get a fixed return, fixed, but we hunt for profits above your fixed return, and that's our profit. And that is why I am convinced that I will be able to play a major role in the evolution of human beings, the next stage of human civilization, which is the basic universal income stage. Remember, if you watch Star Trek, that is precisely the time where everyone do not fight with anyone anymore. Why? Okay, we'll fight with aliens, but we will not fight with each other. Why? Because there is no more strife. There is no more war. Everyone has a basic universal income. Think about it. This is where we should be pursuing. And guess what? We have the technological know-how to do this. We have the financial skills and capability to do this. We just need to have the human will. Right? And that's where my vision and mission is all about. To give to humans the opportunity to have a basic universal income. Am I going to be the only player? No, there will be other people that will be copying me. Go ahead. I think the more the merrier. But I think it's about time we go do what we want to do rather than what we have to do to survive. Think about it. And I need your support. Okay?
Okay, third row.
It's easier to train people's money, but how do you remove your emotions from your own money?
Very good. So the question is, it's easy to trade other people's money, but how do you remove your own emotions? Read my book lah. Okay. Mindset mastery is the ability to switch on and off your emotions. Let me just give you a glimpse of what mindset mastery is all about. Okay, once you know it, you will realize, hey, you know it when you were young. Your parents taught it to you. Mindset mastery is the ability to control the language of your mind. Master your mind. You master your destiny, because your mind is full of instructions on what you should feel, what you should do. So if you can master your mind, you master everything else, including your emotions. Right? Does that help? Okay, but there's more to it. The only way is to buy my book.
Like it. Okay, John, you had a question?
The question may have been partly answered already.
Sure.
Insofar as the vision of the pension fund for the world is concerned, I assume that, well, would I be correct in seeing the possibility of you soliciting investments outside? It's not really organic growth from your side. You're looking for potentially investments from other partners, private equity, whatever the case may be. And then assuming that is correct, then the following question would be then, from a sort of vehicle perspective and risk profile management side, how do you see yourself differentiated relative to other traditional players in this space, imagine from hedge funds to perhaps more traditional developers?
Sure. Brilliant question. He basically wants to know what's my strategy. How do I create this pension fund for the world? First, I need to have a jurisdiction, right? I need to be a fund managing company in a jurisdiction. For example, in Singapore, in order to get the proper licensing, I need to first have the proper licensing in Singapore in order then to get investments to come in to create a fund. It's the same in Mauritius, it's the same in South Africa. So, while not wanting to flout the financial rules and regulation by talking about investments now, because it's too early, I will not go into details of how this investment or this product will be, but I can very well reveal that it will entail some sort of a licensing, some sort of a properly licensed product in jurisdictions that you can get your hands on. So these are just some sort of a strategy that I have in plan. As to exactly what, we don't know till we get some partners together and we figure it out together. Yeah? Remember, South Africa is a virgin territory for me. This is only my second time here. So I've seen some elephants and rhinos, but that's it. I'm going to see more, get to know more people, and perhaps get to find out what are the rules and regulations here so that I don't go to jail when I'm here, right?
Yeah.
So that's important.
Stay away from the government.
Yeah, stay away from the government. Get properly licensed so that we don't have to get into problems, right? In Singapore, yeah, we are very strict about rules and regulation. that's why we have this conservative culture. You know, kiasu, kiasi, scared to die, scared to lose. We basically make sure we are licensed before we do anything. So that's important. Yeah, does that help you answer that question? Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Okay, Fee.
One more.
I love your vision of the pension fund for the world, and just thinking about my own future. How
Sure.
long do you think this is going to take to roll out?
Well, first advice is don't hold your breath. It's going to take longer than a minute. It won't happen today, but perhaps next week. Well, it will take some time. It will take some time. I'm currently a private trader, right? Started with 10,000 5 years ago, just crossed 16 million. Not a lot in the trading industry, right? And I'm at the crossroad transition where I am now setting up registered fund managing companies in Singapore, in Mauritius, in Hong Kong, in Bangkok, in South Africa. So whatever that I do gives me the finances to go do what I want to do, right? So these are the distractions away from my trading, because remember, trading is boring, right? Okay. So it will take me some time to get everything organized. But does it mean you can't participate in some sort of a passive income? No. I am not allowed to sell you a product right now. I'm not allowed to recommend where you put your money right now. But what I can say is, if you get in touch with the organizers of this book launch, you can then get access to me, and I'll quietly tell you how to do it. Is that a better way? That way you don't go to jail, I don't go to jail, and everyone is still happy, right? Okay. Okay.
That was completely off the record. You never heard that. Okay, I think.
No.
One question.
Okay, one more question.
One more question.
I have to ask about the book and,
yes.
and the writing process because, you know,
Okay.
Scoop's bookshop.
Okay.
So you said you had a trading journal.
Yes.
How did you take it from a trading journal into a book?
Okay.
How did that work?
Remember, this book is not a forex trading book. So it will only tell you a bit about my trading, but a whole lot about the trading mindset, right? So, you want to know the trading, the writing process? Let me tell you a story. I have, to date, okay, 3 co-writers. Why? Because, first of all, I've not written a book before. So it was a learning experience for me. I got Perlin Xiao, which is a Singaporean Chinese co-author in Singapore. She was a journalist. And when my portfolio was in its hundreds of thousands of dollars, 4 years ago, I then decided, hey, I want to write a book of some sort. So I contacted her, I got a quote from her, and that was that. A year later, when I crossed 1 million, I told her, hey, I'm onto something. I think I'm ready to write a book. So she said, okay, I will send you some questions on email. And that email went on my email, and I didn't check it for 6 months. Why? Because I'm not an email person. So then I suggested to her, why don't you ask me some questions and I'll answer it, and then you take it down, you write as much as you like, and we do it that way. So I realized something. I'm not an email person, but I'm a real chatty person if you ask me questions, and that's explained why today's book launch is an answer and question session, because when you ask the right questions, you get the right answer. So Perlin Xiao discovered how she could engage with me. She gave me a whole lot of questions, and she interrogated me during a answer and a question session. She got everything up from me, and she started writing. Big problem. Because she did verbatim. She wrote down everything that I wanted to say, and things that are not publishable was mentioned. Things that will make me go to jail immediately when I publish it was was on the first manuscript. And I said, nah, this is not publishable. It will get me into trouble. You know, financial services. I'm not supposed to say this, I'm not supposed to say that, but you all mentioned it. So I had a problem. So I spoke to a few friends, and Kitrin, my second co-author, came into my life. She was the wife of my good friend from Bangkok. She was a Lincoln strategist, where she would tear down her client's Lincoln profile and rebuild it up with strategic nuances and positioning. So she had a look at my book. She said, no problem, Kenneth. I can take on the challenge. So she rewrote my book, right? She said, no, this will get you into jail. No, that's not okay. This is better if we shape it that way. Let's introduce a bit of when you were young, when you went to the market, put it in, talk about my towel that you bring along. If you read my book, you understand this, right? This is very significant for me. I love my towel. I bring this wherever I go. It's mentioned in the book. Just some things that you know. She put everything in. So she was a book strategist. And then I said, okay, this is what I'm going to publish, right? So I published first edition, 1,000 book. It was sold off. And then the emails came in. Kenneth, you got a spelling error here. Kenneth, divers, when they dive, they don't breathe in oxygen, they will die. It's air that they breathe. Kenneth is Core 2 Dual computer, it's not Care 2 Dual. Tons of spelling mistakes and syntax error. I just realized my book strategist can't spell. I found 3,500 spelling mistakes and errors. And it was a learning curve for me. And I said, aha, okay, book strategist is not a copy editor. Copy editor is somebody else that checks for spelling. Okay, now I realize that. So when the first 1,000 books were sold, I had the opportunity to print my second edition. I ordered another 1,000, and during the process of getting the second edition out, I got my third co-author, Phoebe Chew. Right? Phoebe was one of my employees, and she was in charge of my blogs and everything. I gave the task to her, so she sounded me out. Hey, there were 3,500 mistakes, and I corrected all of them, and it's in proper English, good for the foreign market. Singaporeans, when we read, we don't care about English, but I think the rest of the world we do. So I published 1,000 of the second edition. Today, I'm happy to let you know the second edition, 1,000 copies, all sold off. Now we are on the second print of the 1,000 edition. I've printed the second print of the second edition, 10,000. Some of it is here in South Africa. And I'm happy to let you know that I have also come up with the audio version, right? So if you like, maybe you can collaborate with me where you buy a book, we'll give a thumb drive of the audio version or something like that, or the flip book version of the book. It's possible. The Chinese version, if you read Chinese, it's ready. The French version is being sorted by Marie, my corporate comms specialist. Swahili, I'm not too sure, but
just don't make an American version, all right?
no American version, no problem. They don't read anyway. Right? And the Thai version should be ready in a month's time, because I live in Thailand. Thailand should be the first place where I launch the book, but unfortunately, when I want to launch the book, the Thais were mourning on their king. The king was passed away. So now a year later, I think they got a move to do book launches. So I will eventually do a book launch in Thailand. So, and that's the learning curve of a independent author. And now, happy to let you know, I'm on my second book. The second book is going to be known as Success Manifestos, right? how to be a disruptor in this new economy, right? It will tell you 7 ways to disrupt yourself so that you can better yourself in this new economy. The third book is in line. It's cartoons, it's manga, Japanese manga, right? So we've identified a niche where millennials actually learn values in life by watching YouTube and going to Facebook and Twittering, and they get their values from these sources. I was telling myself, hey, if we want to reach out to the young people, we better reach out to cartoons and mangas and put a bit of values there. All right, so the third book will be on manga. It's called K-Book. Why K? Because I like it. Because my name is K, Kenneth. The fourth book is planned. It will dive deep into mindset mastery, about money mindset and everything. This fourth book is going to be written by Kip String, the book strategist, but I will make sure the copy editor is ready to correct her mistake. The fifth book is also ready. It's about the evolution of money, how money came from bartering to paper money, to gold and silver to paper money, and the future will be cryptocurrencies. Not the Bitcoin that is issued by individuals and companies. That's a lot of rubbish, and not the speculative kinds, but perhaps cryptocurrencies issued by governments. Yes, the technology behind cryptocurrencies is real. It's going to affect us. It's known as blockchain technology, and it's about financial ledgering. It is going to be changing the way we look at money, and that is perhaps the reason why I'm confident that building the pension fund for this world, getting the basic universal income for the rest of humankind, would be a possibility because of this disruption. Without this disruption, I don't think I'll have a chance. Maybe not my generations, maybe my children's generation, but I think there is a good chance that within 5 years, there will not be banks anymore. Right? Maybe. Let's see the situation, right? So, this is how I grew as an independent author, right? And more exciting things to come, I guess. Right?
Excellent.
Thank you.
Excellent.
Kenneth, do you know how many books you have to sell as an independent author to become a best-selling author?
Too many, I guess.
No. So here's something from me to you tonight.
Okay.
Your next book, if you've sold over 3,000 copies of this book, your next book, you are known as a best-selling author.
Wow, 3,000? I think I'm already a best-selling author. Now, for marketing purpose,
For marketing purpose.
purpose,
On your next book.
wonderful. I'll put it in my name card. For marketing purpose, I'm not known as a best-selling author yet, but I'm known as a highly acclaimed author. By who? Don't ask me, but highly acclaimed. Okay, thank you.
Great, thank you so much. Thank you, Kenneth. Thank you, everybody, for your engagement and your participation tonight. I can see there are still more questions. I'm thirsty. I'm sure you are too. There's food, there's drink, there's Kenneth, and he's chatty, as you can tell. So come, let's enjoy each other's company a little bit more.